It's berry picking time here at our studio gardens, and we're receiving a lot of harvest from blueberries and blackberries. But you know, I tell you, some of them are just now starting to taste sweet, and you may ask how that can happen. Well, I've been sampling plenty, I can tell you. But what happens is that even though you purchase a variety that's supposed to be sweet tasting, the environment still has a lot to do with it. And again, this year, you've heard me say this so many times, but with all the cloud cover earlier on, it has an impact on the berries. And you may have noticed this in your own landscape and garden. With this particular ones, these are some of the thorned varieties that are semi-erect, and we have several different ones. Even though they look very tasty, when you pop them in your mouth, especially about a week and a half to 2 weeks ago, they were very tart. But now, believe it or not, they're starting to get sweeter, and the bottom line is that the more sunshine you get during the harvest time, the sweeter they're going to be if they're a variety that's supposed to be sweet. And we're starting to get sunshine, and that's really helping out the harvest. Now let me take you over here though and show you some new ones that we're trying. And these were very noticeable in the tartness. I was kind of starting to dispute some of the variety name, but this is the new Thornless Blackberry called Arapaho. It was released in 1993 from the University of Arkansas. And again, you can see for a thornless, they're pretty good size, and a lot of times thornless berries are smaller, but they're also very tasty now. But again, just over the past few days have they started to sweeten up. This, again, being thornless is a great way to pick. What it means is you're not going to get scratched as much when you're sticking your hand in the foliage to harvest them. Now, the other thing about thornless blackberries is that they've not been very cold hardy for Oklahoma. Well, these being introduced from Arkansas are more cold hardy, and also they're usually later in production. Arapaho is the earliest thornless that we can get in Oklahoma. It's even 2 weeks earlier than its relative Navajo, which was also released from University of Arkansas. So again, we have Navajo and Arapaho that are thornless. They're semi-erect, which means you can see they grow pretty much upright. They're not really in need of trellising, but we have them planted here, and they're next to some more thornless ones, and these are Chester and Hull. And these are probably some of the earliest thornless varieties of blackberries, again, released in the 1980s from the University of Illinois. But they're not quite as cold hardy. It's taken us several years to get them established, and you can see they are very late. They're still covered with green berries. So that gives us more time for insect and disease problems, even though the foliage looks pretty good. You'll also notice they're much more aggressive. They're starting to cascade a little bit, so they perform better where they can have trellis, and that's probably the best thing to keep in mind. So if you're going to select varieties from Oklahoma, we'd probably encourage to go with Arapaho and Navajo. And the reason you'd go with both is because that way you can spread your harvest out a little bit more, with the Arapaho being the earliest. Now, if this is all confusing to you, don't worry, just stop by your county extension office, because there's a new fact sheet on blackberries and raspberries for Oklahoma, and it'll talk more about the varieties we're talking about as well as some of the cultural practices.